It was a hot, muggy night. The kind that makes you wish you'd invested in a fan instead of cursing the lack of air conditioning. I sat on my porch, the faint hum of crickets and cicadas filling the stillness. The backyard stretched out behind me, a vast expanse of overgrown grass and whispering trees. I'd always been nervous about leaving my backyard untended. There were too many openings in the fence, too many places for unwanted visitors, whether they were human or something far less tangible. But tonight the yard felt different. The air was thick, heavy, as if it were holding its breath. I leaned forward, my elbows resting on the wooden rail, and listened. And then I heard it. A long, mournful cry, like a human wail, but not quite human. It floated through the darkness, piercing the night like a blade. My heart stopped. No, it couldn't be. But it was. For weeks, I'd heard the rumors. Neighbors talking in hushed voices about strange sounds in the middle of the night. The kind that made the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. "It's the Pontianak," they'd say, their eyes darting over their shoulders as if afraid someone might overhear. "It's been around for years, ever since that old house was torn down." I didn't believe in ghosts, or mythical creatures, or anything of the sort. I was a skeptic through and through. But when the first cry echoed through my backyard, I felt my skepticism crumbling like a cheap sand castle in a storm. It didn't sound like a human. Not really. It was deeper, more resonant, with a quality that sent chills racing up my arms. And yet, there was something almost human about it, a sadness so profound it made my throat tighten. I stood, my feet glue-licked to the floor, and turned toward the backyard. The cry had come from somewhere out there, in the shadows. For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. Then the cry came again, but this time it was closer. Closer than I wanted it to be. It was as if the sound were traveling through the air, bouncing off the trees and fences, growing louder with every echo. It started in the distance, a faint whisper of sorrow, and then it began to swell, piercing, urgent, and unmistakably haunting. I felt a cold sweat break out across my skin, despite the oppressive heat. The backyard was alive with the sound now, as if the trees themselves were amplifying it, carrying it forward like a wolf's howl on the wind. And then it stopped. Silence. I stood there, my breath coming in shallow gasps, when the cry came again. This time, it was unmistakably close. So close, my heart nearly leapt out of my chest. It came from the other side of the fence, from the spot where the old oak tree had been uprooted during the last big storm. The sound reverberated through the hollow space, making it feel as if the tree itself were crying out in pain. I stumbled back, my hands clutching the porch railing as if it were the only thing keeping me upright. Okay, I muttered to myself, forcing a calm I didn't feel. It's just a sound. It's just the wind. It's just... But I knew. The cry was real. The silence lasted for just a moment, before the cry came again. This time, it was accompanied by something else, a sound like leaves rustling in the wind, but heavier, more deliberate. I turned, and there it was. A figure stood in the yard, tall and imposing, its black robes swirling around it like the wings of a vulture. Its long, dark hair streamed out behind it, catching the faint light of the moon. And then it turned its head, slowly, deliberately, and faced me. That's when I realized it could see me. I can't say how long I stood there, frozen in fear. All I know is that eventually the figure turned away and disappeared into the darkness. The yard fell silent once more, and the crickets resumed their title. But the memory of that cry, sharp, sorrowful, and unshakable, lingered in my mind for days. The Pontianak, people say, is a restless spirit that can never find peace. Its cry is a warning, a signal that it's nearby. But sometimes it's more than that. I don't know what I believe now. Some nights, I think it was all in my head. A trick of the imagination, a flare-up of nerves after too many sleepless nights. Other nights, when the wind whispers through the trees, I swear I hear it again. And that's when I remember the Pontianak is real, and it's watching.